Hello, and welcome back to the Thought Cloud podcast. Our goal with this conversation is to uncover a hidden gem that can inspire others along their academic journey. Our guest today is Zeina Badawi. Zeina is studying computer science at USC, and this is her last year, I believe, going into the fall. She has been a part of the Give Foundation at USC, Test Jar Labs, where she is researching blockchain tools for video game integration. She has been a part of SCOPE, which is the Computer Science Club for Industry Standard Development on campus, and so much more. Zeina, thank you for joining us today, and say a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me. I've been excited about this interview for a while. You pretty much covered all of the professional ground. Otherwise, I'm from Egypt. I moved out to LA 3 years ago now. Kind of been writing out this interesting college experience as of the past couple of years. But I actually have 2 more years to go since the plan has been thrown out of order. But
Gotcha.
yeah, excited to be here today.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna get into the idea of how everything's been thrown out of order later, because that's pretty cool. But first, I want to talk about what made you decide to study computer science at USC.
So that's actually part of the story of how this plan worked out. I initially came in as a mechanical engineering student. Don't even really know why I picked that. I had a passion for computer science high school, or at least I was discovering it and was really interested in it. But I kind of disregarded the major and just wanted to find, I guess, something more practical, whatever that means. Came in as mechanical engineering, didn't work out. The physics was unenjoyable, and went into electrical engineering for another semester before
Let's
this.
stop there real quick. What do you mean the physics was unenjoyable? Like, who doesn't like physics? No, I'm kidding. But like, what about physics to you wasn't so captivating?
I really like the more theoretical side of physics when we're talking about the cosmos and theories on space and time, but when we're talking mechanical physics or thermodynamics, all of that side of things where it's calculating heavy and just,
Yeah,
I don't know, bogged down in the numbers, I didn't really like it.
I get what you're saying there. I felt similar, honestly speaking. Yeah, kind of why am I working on this problem? I get where you're coming from. So you evolved from that, and you said you wanted to go more into the electrical engineering side of things. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so that would be my bridge into computer science,
Mm.
where I was like, okay, let me incorporate computer science with electrical circuitry, and because I've been interested in robotics. And then that didn't work out either, just didn't feel right until I was like, okay, I gotta admit it to myself. I wanted to be in computer science. And so that brings us here where I'm now. I mean, all my friends still ask me, "Hey, are you still in computer science?" Because it feels like I've been jumping around so much.
That is funny. So what do you mean by gosh, I guess EEC students, electrical engineering students, it seems like there's a good overlap between the two, right? Between EECs and just strictly CS. What did you feel like CS alone was going to give you that EECs didn't?
I felt like with CS there was more freedom in regards to my medium. Electrical engineering, although it in itself is also super interesting to be able to build uh, your own electrical components, but I just work faster when we're just dealing with software, and I
Yeah.
am just worried about the abstract space instead of the how everything comes together physically.
Gotcha. And was that electrical engineering program, was it EECS or was it just strictly EE?
No, it was just EE. If I would have considered EECS, but yeah, I don't know. Hardware didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, you're like, no, this isn't me. So software was a space for you. That was a space where you felt like you were able to kind of explore more, be yourself, have more flexibility. So how has that been since you have been in that program? Has it been everything you've lived up to?
It has been interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely challenging, and I enjoy that. But I think I myself, my attitude towards the major hasn't been as excited as I was coming into it,
Okay.
because I think it's really easy for school to kind of snuff out that fire. And only really this year have I started actually getting excited about it and curious to explore all the ways I could do CS, because that's what drew me to it in the first place, the
Yeah.
creativity that comes to it with it. So
What do you mean that like tell us a little bit about that? How school has a good way of snuffing out the fires, as you put it.
um I think the formal education system, and I felt this way since the last couple of years of high school as well, because I've always been what you'd call a good student, and then, working my way to getting to a good college, and here I am, and I'm burnt out, and I'm tired, and I am constantly assigned projects and work that is just so time consuming. And I feel like you probably know a little bit about this as well, where you want to make space for your life for the things that matter more to you than just working, but it feels like school doesn't really give you space to do that or account for that.
I get, yeah, no, 100%, I get you. Yeah, I think it's hard when you are, trying to apply yourself completely to everything that they're giving you. And, that's supposed to, in your head, make up for that creative space. It's supposed to supplement that area of, inspiration, and it often doesn't. You feel like there's still so much out there that you want to tackle, but you just don't have the time per se. I totally feel you on that. So what you said, now you're starting to feel a little bit more excited, right? In this last year. So how has that excitement come back?
Just deciding to put myself out there regardless of maybe even sometimes the imposter syndrome that comes with being a woman in STEM, I guess. um, but it all started with I had decided to go to a hackathon, which was Athena Hacks, the all-female hackathon that's thrown every year. I actually registered for it the year before, but it was online, and that in its own was also very discouraging to show up and do things on an online format. But this year I got to go in person, and I was like, I'm just gonna go look around, go to the workshops, just be a voyeur in this experience, until I sat down at the table with these couple of girls, and they were like, oh, you want to join our team and work on a project? I was like, yeah, sure.
That's
And
cool.
it was fun, and I was like, yeah, this is what I was doing computer science for, the fun stuff, the like exciting ideas.
Yeah. So it was that hackathon that really inspired you to be like, okay, this is actually cool. There are ways for me to sort of put myself out there and explore the way I wanted to explore initially.
Yeah, I mean, it was part of my plan in general for this year to dedicate myself to finding those escapes and those communities even where I can feel excited again. And scope was another part of that, where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna apply to computer science club and meet other computer science students in this way. And it's turned out pretty good.
Definitely, definitely. So just getting out there outside of the traditional academic curriculum and embracing sort of the other experiences on campus, that's allowed you to get to this place of, okay, I am excited about what the future holds for computer science. So let's talk about that a little bit too. Let's talk about Scope. How long have you been a part of Scope?
So this was my first semester in scope, so I've been a member since January or February of this year.
January, February this year. And what is Scope like? Like, what do you do in Scope?
So it is one of those computer science clubs with both, I guess, a curriculum aspect and a social aspect. And they just bring, curious minds, people who want to work on projects and who take the time to dedicate themselves to personal projects. Just people excited about, well, the potentials for computer science. And um, they teach an industry standard framework every semester. So whether that be like this semester we had why am I blanking on what we did? Oh, we did React Native.
Mhm.
And they have workshops and lessons every week where we come in and everybody just learns how to do this together, and they have a big competition at the end of the semester where you get to showcase what we've learned. And the other half of that is just bringing us together for fun activities. parties, just, paint nights, things like that. And it was
Yeah.
good in that sense also to find computer science students to hang out with.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's got to make it more rewarding as well when you have that community around you, and you can relate to those people and bounce ideas off of them, voice problems, etc. So what did you end up doing for your competition? What was your project that you presented?
We actually ended up winning. I think it was something like best effort, but our project, it was called Fruit, and it is basically an app where you would be able to upload you and your friends' favorite food orders from different restaurants, so they add their Starbucks order or their favorite McDonald's order, and you can see all your friends' orders at these places. So if you ever want to surprise them with something and bring them a gift or just make
Yeah,
their day a little easier, you just know what they would order from their favorite spots.
that's
And
pretty cool. That's pretty
yeah.
cool. Yeah, so that's cool that you end up actually placing or at least getting some recognition for that. And so scope in the future, what do you plan to do next semester? What does that kind of look like?
So I had applied for a e-board member, or e-board position, but I didn't get it.
Mm,
So next semester, hopefully, once again, just enjoying being a member and getting to do the fun things without planning for them, and trying to brainstorm ways I could contribute to reapply, hopefully.
yeah,
So yeah.
definitely. Well, that's exciting. I'm super glad that you were able to find that and continue down this path. And you're also doing something really cool this summer, which is test jar labs. So talk to us about test jar labs. What is test jar labs?
Oh, it has been a ride. So, Touchstar Labs is a startup that is working on video game design and blockchain integration so that they, first of all, provide smaller developers and other game developers in general the tools to be able to build their own games and easily integrate blockchain, which is, the future of gaming as it's coming up now, and or one aspect of it. And their other the other part of the company is developing its own game, which is called Ghosty, which would be their own project released on this platform of sorts. And yeah, it has been really interesting learning about everything and just seeing the potential of this industry.
Definitely. And I don't know how much you can go into detail here, but as theoretical as you can keep it, or as high level as you can keep it, what have been some of the things that you've been doing in the company, learning about what, sort of projects?
So I am on the blockchain research and development side of things. So have just been a part of um, the brainstorming and the working out all the details of how exactly those tools would work, what platforms to host them on, things like that, of just looking at into how this plan is actually going to work out.
Hmm.
And on the other side of that is I've also, as of recently, been able to be a part of more meetings on game design and generally restructuring our game. So it's been really exciting to see those two things come together. One which I've been interested in learning about, and the other one I've just been interested in actually working on.
Definitely. And is this your first summer using blockchain?
It is. It is.
Wow. And so you've been able to pick it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I've just been putting in the time to learn. I invested in cryptocurrencies over the last year, of course, but I had a much more abstract vision of everything than now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And so what would you say attributes to your ability to learn it so readily? Like what has been making that possible? Any languages in particular? Any classes that you've taken in particular, or is it just brute force? I'm learning as best as I can.
I would say it's pretty much that. I felt intimidated at first, but just one, having people around you that encourage you asking questions and encourage just learning in general has been important. So my team providing that for me and just providing guidance into what even they're looking for and what the definition of every little word I've had to figure
Yeah.
out has been good, but just getting past the intimidating first step of being like, you know what, I will learn. I will just Google it and Google it and Google
Google
it.
it. That is so funny. That is so funny. Well, good for you being able to do that. I think that's great. Well, good deal. Well, let's, I guess next question about Test Jar Labs is, what are your plans there? Do you hope to continue to work there through the fall? Do you hope to stay there for a while or look for a new experience? What does your sort of situation look like?
I currently think that in the fall I would take a break from working with the company and possibly explore another option, because I was coming into this as much of a learning opportunity as possible, and specifically because of my interest in blockchain and a growing interest in video game design. But I would probably want to explore something different by the time the fall comes.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. Well, very cool. Very cool that you have your options open and have been exposed to those experiences. I also now want to talk about the Give Foundation. So what is the Give Foundation and how did you get involved in it?
So the Gift Foundation is a collective that just spreads information on mental health. They create conversations for people and ways to help people who struggle with their mental wellness. And in a lot of mediums, there's a blog platform, a podcast platform, video, and yeah, I initially joined it even just to help with my own mental health journey,
Yeah,
and it was very fulfilling.
very nice, very nice. Well, what do you think has brought you the most joy from being a part of the Give Foundation?
It's so I am a writer, but just like a private writer, I enjoy reading, I enjoy writing, but it's not something that I have given much thought of professionally until recent years. And so it was a great outlet for my passion for writing. And also it allowed me to reflect on my own mental health, and just like the topics I ended up writing about are things I was struggling with at the time. And setting aside time to research your own mental wellness and ways you can be better was very useful for me.
Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine. And especially coming into college, you know, all the pressures that you face and finding an outlet for that. Again, the community aspect had to have been helpful. What, I'm talking about your being an international student, you came from Egypt. How was that transition and how did that play into everything that has led into your undergraduate career?
Oh my God. It has been a big part of just my self-identity so far in so many ways. I grew up being the kind of person who just, I was like, I cannot wait to leave for college and, you know, be myself and learn to be myself without being at home and I guess stuck in this place is how I viewed it at the time. And then I came out here, and honestly there was a big aspect of culture shock that me at the time wouldn't really notice, but I was trying to fit in and I was trying to understand America and just finally live in the land of the free. And since then it has just been one crazy journey to kind of reconciling my own identity and who I want to be in the future. And this move has been so big in determining that.
Wow. What do you think the biggest thing that's been different about being here opposed to being back home?
Good question. Good question. There are a couple things I usually cite. One, which is negative, is I feel like America has a hyper individualistic culture that I was not very used to, coming from a more communal place. Like Egypt is there's a lot of community love for one another and people are always willing to help. And I think I've been able to see the difference maybe when I go to the South here, where people are really nice and kind, and then being in LA where people tend to be fake and just focused on their own, climb up the ladder. But on the other side of that, people don't really give a shit what you do. People don't care, and you do get to enjoy a sense of freedom in that. Whereas in Egypt, it could get judgmental, and something like your reputation holds a lot of weight. Here, you can be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, interesting dynamic there. I guess living here, I was from a smaller town, so kind of reputation is something that I always had, in my head. But I think, you went from growing up somewhere and like you said, Egypt, that's sort of the culture, and then to LA, which is like big, like, be yourself. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, really interesting perspective. What advice would you give for people that are looking to, or that are first coming to the United States?
I would say do it all. And this is something to be careful with, because I knew that like I kind of went crazy coming out, like when I first came out here. It was just the bubble was burst and I finally get to do everything. But LA is also a scary place. Make sure to do it all with people that you trust around you, and you're gonna have a good time. I think that that's just part of growing and coming to realize who you are. Is getting to experience all of that, but also making sure you just have people that would ride for you around.
Definitely. I like that. Well, we're going to go into our rapid fire round now. So I'm going to ask you a question and you are going to answer with whatever response comes to your mind. So the first one is, what is your favorite book?
Ooh, The Humans by Matt Haig. It is a book it's a nonfiction book about an alien who comes to Earth and takes the place of this math professor who has cracked the Riemann hypothesis, which is this math hypothesis on prime numbers. And he's supposed to like kill everybody who he has told. And slowly he kind of falls in love with being a human, but he just has all these pithy remarks about humanity at first.
Oh my goodness, fun. All right, next one. Who is your most influential role model?
Role model. In ways, I'd say my mom. She's a very strong woman, and I've learned a lot from growing up with her.
Definitely. Great answer. All right, who would you say your favorite professor is, or favorite teacher, and what grade was that?
My favorite teacher, okay, specifically for CS, Professor Mark Redekop, who has been my teacher for my EE 109 class, which is the only EE class required as a CS major, and I have retaken it with him a couple times.
Oh my God.
And now he is my professor for my summer class, so I'm sure he's a little tired of seeing me, but he has always been a great teacher.
I love that. That's awesome. Good story there. What would you say you are most looking forward to in your next year at USC?
I am looking forward to my career growth and spending more of those times, like I said, exploring more creative avenues, but also I'm looking forward to the person I'm becoming and just coming into my own and just more and more sure of myself as days go by. So.
I love that. All right. Well, what would you say the most stressful person or most stressful part of being a student is day in and day out?
Time management.
Time management.
Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks, but sometimes you gotta get up and do it anyways.
I love it. So next question, who is your favorite person you have ever studied with?
Studied with?
Mm-hmm.
Amy Christopher. She came into computer science for a semester and hated it, but somehow we found each other to study together one time, and we were working on one of our big projects due at the end of the semester. She ended up staying like 2 weeks at my place, just sleeping and waking up together. Pushing through, and it was she came to me at a time where I needed her, where I needed another person who was struggling, but we were like, we can do this.
I love that. That's so cool. What would you say the most meaningful way for students to help each other is?
Ooh. Lend a hand talk to the person next to you in class, even if people don't seem like they want to ask for help, just offer it anyways. And yeah, I mean, like, if talking crap about the professor helps to create friends in class, and you can help each other.
Oh my goodness. What would you say your biggest hope to accomplish during your time on Earth is?
Inspiring somebody else. If it's just one other person to be themselves unapologetically, that would be very cool.
I love that. And what would you say your top piece of advice is for those who are early in their educational journey?
Be open to failing and be open to changing your mind. You will not get it right from the first time, and that's okay. And you just got to keep getting back up and seeing where you feel best and where you feel most excited.
I love that. I love that. Well, Zeina, this has been so much fun picking your brain, hearing your story, sharing your insights. Where can people follow the work you're doing and learn more about you?
They can probably find me on LinkedIn under the name Zeina Badawi, and or they could follow my Instagram if they want to see the more non-CS journey.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
All right, thank you for having me.